All right, strap in, because if you thought your life was already a train wreck, welcome to the main event. Inflation's devouring your paycheck in Chicago, AI's quietly learning to replace you in San Francisco, TikTok influencers in Los Angeles are losing their minds, and politicians in Washington, D.C. are pretending to have a plan. Meanwhile, hurricanes in Miami, missiles over Kyiv, and oil chaos in Houston are happening, and yes, it all hits your life. Sit tight or don't. I'm about to roast your world, your routines, and society itself, all while we watch the apocalypse unfold in slow motion. Let's go. All right, let's kick things off with your paycheck, or what's left of it. Inflation in Chicago, Illinois, this week hit groceries like a freight train. A dozen eggs? $5.99. Milk? $4.79 a gallon. Bread? $3.49, if you can find it without the cashier judging you for picking the cheap brand. Meanwhile, rent for a one-bedroom in downtown Chi. Let's get this apocalypse party started. All right, strap in, because if you thought your life was already a train wreck, welcome to the main event. Inflation's devouring your paycheck in Chicago, AI's quietly learning to replace you in San Francisco, TikTok influencers in Los Angeles are losing their minds, and politicians in Washington, D.C. are pretending to have a plan. Meanwhile, hurricanes in Miami, missiles over Kyiv, and oil chaos in Houston are happening, and yes, it all hits your life. Upskill or perish. Sure, buddy, because I love learning a new programming language while my rent is eating my soul. Meanwhile, OpenAI is rolling out GPT-5 for commercial applications, and companies in Austin, Texas are quietly experimenting with AI to write resumes better than actual humans, meaning soon even your rejection emails will be generated by a sadistic robot with zero empathy. Speaking of robots, TikTok is officially losing its damn mind in Miami, Florida. Last Friday, a local chef deep-fried his neighbor's Roomba in front of a camera, claiming it was performance art. The video hit 3 million views. Meanwhile, influencers in Los Angeles are crying over engagement drops of 0.3%, like, "Welcome to the apocalypse, sweetie, where your views don't matter, but hurricanes and wildfires do." And yes, climate chaos is real. In Tampa, Florida, the latest NOAA report says sea levels have risen 4 inches in the last decade alone, which, fun fact, means your beachfront condo might get wet faster than your iced latte melts in July. Oil prices are next, because apparently the world hates us. Saudi Arabia cut production by 500,000 barrels per day last week, and WTI crude in Houston, Texas, spiked to $86.50 a barrel. That's right, your gas pump is screaming in pain while CEOs smile like they just found gold in their backyard. Meanwhile, the global energy scramble has European gas prices skyrocketing, which indirectly jacks up US electricity rates. So congratulations, New York and Los Angeles residents. You're paying for the geopolitical drama you didn't sign up for, and you can't even tweet about it without your battery dying mid-rant. Now politics, oh boy. In Washington, D.C., the House of Representatives debated AI regulation last Tuesday, and what did they produce? A 90-page bill full of vague phrases like, "ensure responsible innovation," while accidentally tweeting the entire draft to the public. Meanwhile, senators are still arguing about raising the debt ceiling while your 401k gasps in terror. And yes, that $2 trillion debt ceiling debate in D.C. does directly affect your life, because if they fail, the dollar takes a nosedive and suddenly a Big Mac in Dallas, Texas costs $17. Welcome to the financial Hunger Games, folks. Let's pivot to global chaos for a sec. Kyiv, Ukraine, continues to deal with missile strikes, and the humanitarian crisis has spiked dramatically. Wheat exports have dropped, which means bread prices in Chicago and Kansas City are quietly crawling upward. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, Israel, bomb threats triggered emergency alerts last week, reminding us that global instability isn't some Netflix docuseries. It directly impacts the food on your plate. And yes, I'm fully aware that some of you are checking your phone and thinking, "but my latte." Good luck with that, buddy. Latte foam isn't going to buy you stability. And don't forget social media disasters. Elon Musk's tweets in Austin, Texas, about crypto and free speech? Pure chaos. Bitcoin jumped 7% one day, tanked 12% the next. People are treating a billionaire's Twitter fingers like the stock market oracle. Meanwhile, your savings account is stagnating like a swamp in New Jersey. And yes, this counts as news. It directly impacts Americans because, surprise, your 401k is indirectly gambling on billionaires' tweets. Welcome to modern adulthood. It's fun if you enjoy panic attacks before breakfast. Back to domestic absurdities. Grocery stores in New York City are doing that thing where organic suddenly costs double because someone decided kale from California is rare. Milk from Vermont is $5.99 a gallon. Chicken breast from Iowa? $7.49 per pound. Meanwhile, supply chain issues from the ports of Long Beach, California, and Savannah, Georgia, have delayed shipments of literally everything else. So congratulations, folks. Your diet now consists of stress, disappointment, and whatever's on sale. Bon appetit. And finally, the apocalypse-adjacent tangents. In Miami, Florida, NOAA issued yet another hurricane warning. In Phoenix, Arizona, heat waves broke 110 degrees for 10 straight days. And in Los Angeles, wildfires destroyed thousands of acres, yet people are still complaining that their Wi-Fi lagged for 0.5 seconds. Society, ladies and gents, collapsing around us, but at least our memes are still lit. And hey, if you survive this, maybe you get a medal. Or a TikTok trending challenge. Whatever feels more apocalyptic to you. So that's the first course of reality: inflation, AI, TikTok disasters, oil chaos, politics, global crises, climate, and social media freakouts, all anchored with cities, states, and countries. Because nothing hits harder than knowing this madness is literally happening everywhere around you. And yes, it's coming for your breakfast, your job, and your sanity. Buckle up, because the main course of absurdity is just getting started. All right, let's dive back in. Starting with tech layoffs, because nothing says modern American tragedy like getting an email that your career just evaporated. San Francisco, California, yeah, that overpriced city where your rent is basically a small mortgage, is seeing a wave of tech layoffs again. Google cut 12,000 jobs this month alone. 12,000. Meanwhile, smaller startups in Seattle, Washington are quietly shuddering because investors decided apps that track your dog's moods aren't essential. And you? You're sitting there updating your LinkedIn profile like a sad monk chanting for karma, while AI quietly learns to do your old job in half the time. Your skill set? Already obsolete. Your savings? Depleting. Your self-respect? Yeah, that got eaten by the last Zoom meeting where someone nodded at nothing for an hour. Welcome to the 21st century. Bring snacks. Now let's talk AI creeping into the personal realm. Austin, Texas is ground zero for this nightmare. A local company launched an AI dating assistant that writes 40 texts better than you ever could, and people are using it. Meanwhile, your Tinder game? Non-existent. Your DMs? Empty. And don't even think about privacy. Your AI assistant probably knows what kind of cereal you like before you do. Meanwhile, OpenAI's GPT-5 is being trialed in New York City law firms, writing legal briefs that lawyers pretend to understand. Soon, even your rejection letters will read like Shakespeare written by a robot with a vendetta. Society is basically outsourcing heartbreak to machines, and honestly, that's both hilarious and terrifying. Switching gears to oil and energy. Houston, Texas, and Midland, Texas are going ballistic. WTI crude jumped to $88 per barrel after OPEC announced production cuts. Meanwhile, your SUV guzzles gas like it's auditioning for an episode of Mad Max, and your bank account is quietly crying. On the global front, Libya's oil output is plummeting due to ongoing militia conflicts in Tripoli, and European refineries are panicking. Translation: higher energy bills for every American who dares to plug in a toaster. So congratulations, folks. You're paying for wars you didn't sign up for, just to make your morning coffee. Also, fun fact, gas stations in Los Angeles are now experimenting with dynamic pricing, meaning your regular fill-up could randomly cost $15 more for the thrill. Enjoy! Political chaos continues, and oh boy. Washington, D.C. is the gift that keeps on giving. Last week, the Senate passed a bipartisan bill about AI regulation, but somehow forgot to include AI. The bill is 200 pages of vague promises like, promote innovation responsibly, which translates to, we're not helping you, just look busy. Meanwhile, New York City residents are watching Congress argue about tax credits for electric vehicles, while subways crumble and schools struggle to afford pencils. And yes, the $2 trillion debt ceiling debate is ongoing. Failure could tank the dollar. So while politicians debate like toddlers over building blocks, your grocery bill quietly doubles, and you get a front row seat to the slow-motion collapse. Grab popcorn. On the social media side, TikTok is losing the plot again. Los Angeles, California, reports that users spent an average of 3.2 hours a day on the app last week, many watching absurd stunts like people microwaving electronics or pouring Coke on their furniture. Meanwhile, influencers in New York City are live-streaming emotional breakdowns because their followers didn't clap enough for a new dance trend. Meanwhile, a guy in Dallas, Texas made a viral video where he dressed as a gas pump and pranked cars. It hit 2 million views. The moral? Society's collective attention span is officially owned by chaos, and yes, this is totally affecting real life, because Americans are now taking financial advice from TikTok skits about crypto, not economists. And climate, oh sweet doom. Miami, Florida just recorded its 5th consecutive flood this month due to rising sea levels, and NOAA warns the trend is accelerating. Meanwhile, Phoenix, Arizona baked at 115 degrees for a record 12 straight days, causing power grids to squeal like an old accordion. Over in California, wildfires consumed 15,000 acres near Sacramento just last week. The government? Sending tweets. Local communities? Praying. Your AC bill? Double what it was last year. And yes, these aren't distant headlines, they hit you directly. If you live in Houston, New York, Los Angeles, or Miami, the climate apocalypse is literally in your backyard. Global news bites? In Kyiv, Ukraine, missile strikes continue to disrupt grain exports, driving up wheat prices in Chicago and Kansas City. In Tel Aviv, Israel, authorities issued new air raid alerts last Tuesday, while Gaza braces for retaliatory strikes. And in Shanghai, China, tech manufacturing slowdowns are causing product shortages in US stores. So yeah, global chaos isn't abstract. It's your grocery cart, your gas bill, and your inability to buy an Xbox controller in time for Christmas. Sports and entertainment? Sure, let's talk about it. In Los Angeles, Lakers fans are cheering while wildfires rage nearby. In New York City, Yankees fans celebrated a home run while their subway trains broke down in rush hour chaos. In Miami, the heat wave has made beach volleyball feel like
human sautéing. And somehow, Americans treat these trivial victories like survival strategy tips. Meanwhile, the planet slowly collapses around them. Priorities, people, absolute priorities.
So that's the second course. Tech layoffs, AI intrusion, oil chaos, politics, social media freakouts, climate disasters, global instability, and sports absurdities. Anchored in real cities, with details you can actually check. But don't, because knowledge will just make your morning coffee taste like despair. And don't worry, the final chaos course is still coming. We've only hit the appetizers and main courses. Dessert is a full-on apocalyptic tirade. Buckle up, because it's going to get messier. Alright, now let's really dig into the absurdity buffet, starting with healthcare, because nothing screams modern apocalypse like paying $400 for a doctor visit that lasts 10 minutes. In New York City, an average primary care appointment now runs between $350 to $450, not counting insurance deductibles that are basically your soul in paper form. Meanwhile, pharmacies in Chicago, Illinois, have been rationing insulin and EpiPens because supply chains are complicated. Translation: survive the day, maybe, or cough up your kidney for a prescription. And yes, this directly affects you, unless you plan to live off TikTok recipes and existential dread. Next, let's roast housing insanity. Los Angeles, California, rents for one-bedroom apartments just outside the city hit $2,500 a month. In San Francisco, it's $3,400. Meanwhile, tiny studio apartments in Boston, Massachusetts, are going for $2,100 a month. And don't forget property taxes in Texas. Houston homeowners are crying over bills that feel like mortgage payments on a spaceship. Meanwhile, developers keep building luxury condos no one can afford, leaving the rest of us with cracked walls, leaky faucets, and neighbors who think 3 a.m. mariachi is entertainment. Society's collapsing, but hey, at least your landlord got a new yacht. Switching gears to tech again. AI in Seattle, Washington is learning to predict customer behavior better than humans, which sounds cool until you realize your online shopping habits are now part of a predictive matrix designed to make you buy more stuff you don't need. Meanwhile, in Palo Alto, California, startups are experimenting with AI that can literally compose music and art. So yes, your job might survive for now, but your creative soul? Already obsolete. And if you thought this was a small thing, remember, companies in Boston are now testing AI to generate legal contracts, meaning even lawyers are becoming glorified proofreaders for robots with no conscience. Let's talk groceries again, because apparently humans still need food. In Miami, Florida, avocados hit $2.49 each last week, while a head of lettuce is $3.19. In Denver, Colorado, chicken breasts are averaging $7.99 per pound. And yes, organic kale from California is still a $6 luxury item. Meanwhile, supply chain delays from the ports of Long Beach, California, and Savannah, Georgia, are making every trip to the grocery store feel like a treasure hunt. And if you thought your wallet was safe, think again, because in Houston, Texas, energy costs are jacking up electricity bills while your AC runs nonstop during a 105-degree heat wave. Now, climate chaos. Oh, this is fun. Hurricanes in Tampa, Florida, hit Category 4 last week, forcing thousands to evacuate. Meanwhile, Phoenix, Arizona recorded record-breaking temperatures of 116 degrees for a full week, causing power grid alerts and heat stroke warnings. Los Angeles, California, experienced wildfires that consumed over 20,000 acres near the outskirts of the city. And yes, NOAA confirms that sea levels in Miami have risen 4 inches in the last decade alone, which means beachfront condos might start floating instead of providing views. The planet is roasting, flooding, and burning, but at least we have memes about it. Priorities, people, priorities. Global news check. Kyiv, Ukraine, is still under constant threat from missile strikes, and agricultural exports are down, pushing wheat prices in Chicago and Kansas City higher. In Tel Aviv, Israel, air raid sirens went off again last week as tensions with Gaza escalated. And in Shanghai, China, factory slowdowns have delayed electronic shipments to the US, leaving Best Buy shelves emptier than your motivation on a Monday morning. So yes, global chaos is not abstract. It hits your bills, your entertainment, and your snack options. Let's hit social media again, because apparently humanity enjoys watching the world burn. In Los Angeles, TikTok users spent over 3 hours a day scrolling last week, watching videos like Microwave Your Phone Challenge and How to Deep Fry Furniture. Meanwhile, influencers in New York City are live streaming mental breakdowns over 0.2% drops in engagement. And yes, this is the culture we're cultivating, collective chaos consumption while the planet fries, floods, and crumbles around us. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's Austin, Texas Twitter escapades continue to drive crypto swings, making a retirement plan look like monopoly money. Sports. Oh yes, the final ridiculous human distraction. Lakers fans in Los Angeles cheered while nearby wildfires raged. Yankees fans in New York City celebrated home runs while subway breakdowns created downtown chaos. Miami's heatwave made beach volleyball feel like human sautéing. And somehow, Americans treat these trivial victories like survival strategy tips, ignoring the fact that global and domestic crises are stacked higher than your overpriced latte. So there it is. Health, housing, tech, groceries, climate, global instability, social media, sports, all anchored in real cities, full of absurd details and dripping with doom. This is basically a buffet of chaos designed to roast your life, your routines, and your sense of security. And guess what? Dessert is still coming. The outro is where we throw the mic down and remind you that surviving this madness is already a miracle. Buckle up, friends. The final apocalyptic servings are right around the corner. And there you have it, the buffet of doom, chaos, and overpriced everything. If you somehow survived hearing about inflation in Chicago, AI taking your job in San Francisco, hurricanes in Miami, TikTok losing its mind in Los Angeles, and missiles flying over Kyiv, congratulations. You're either made of steel or just numb enough to scroll past reality. Either way, give yourself a slow clap, or don't. I know your thumb muscles are tired from doom scrolling. Thanks for watching. If you survived this chaos, don't just sit there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yes, I'm roasting you for being lazy about it. Society's collapsing, AI's plotting, oil's laughing, and hurricanes are auditioning for their own reality show. But at least we still have memes. Mic drop. Apocalypse served cold. Welcome to reality. Enjoy the ride.